Let's take a look at some biology questions today. The first question says, make a labeled drawing of a typical plant cell to show its essential features. We want to look at the drawing of a plant cell now. As you can see, the drawing of a plant cell, which is smooth, it has cytoplasm. These are the labeling: cell wall, chloroplast, perisome, rough endoplasmic reticulum. This is the label diagram of a plant cell. Study it carefully. And then the next question says, give the functions of two labeled organelles. We have chloroplast, we have nucleus. So chloroplast is a site of photosynthesis and it produces glucose using sunlight, carbon dioxide and water, while nucleus controls the cell activities and stores genetic information, which is called the DNA. The next question says, describe living two cells organizations in living organisms, giving an example of each type. We have unicellular organization and multicellular organization. For unicellular, it is organisms that are made up of only one cell. That is why you call it uni, and the example is amoeba and paramecium. But for multicellular organization, the organisms are made up of many cells which are created to perform specialized function. Example is humans and mango tree. They are created for different functions. Mango tree is for fruits, humans is to live, reproduce, and all of that. Why unicellular have just one cell, amoeba or paramecium. These are examples of unicellular. The second question says, explain briefly the cell theory. All living things are made up of one or more cells. The cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life, and all cells arise from pre-existing cells. So they come from cells that already existed but already old and then renewed. Name two scientists who contributed to the development of cell theory. First one is Matthias Schleiden. He proposed that all plants are made up of cells. It was the one that brought that statement. And then Theodor Schwann, he was the one that proposed that all animals are made up of cells. You can also mention Rudolf Virchow, because he also stated that new cells come from pre-existing cells, like we said, because it's part of the theory. These three scientists could be mentioned, but the major ones that are well known is Matthias and Theodor. The next question says, list three ways in which a typical plant cell differs from an animal cell. The first one is that plant cells have a cell wall, and animal cells do not have. Plant cells have chloroplast for photosynthesis, but animals lack it. Plant cells have a large central vacuole. Animal cells have a very small temporary vacuoles. It is not permanent. Fourth question says, give an account of the structure and function of the following. 1. Endoplasmic reticulum. We call it. The structure is that it is a network of membranous tubules and sac. It's explanatory structure, right? It has two types. It has rough ER, which is that has ribosomes, while smooth ER doesn't have ribosomes. The function is that rough ER synthesizes protein and transport it, while smooth one synthesizes lipids and detoxification of harmful substances. The next one is mitochondria. The structure is that it has double membrane organelle, inner membrane folded in crystal to increase surface area, and the function is that it has site of cellular respiration and produces ATP, which is used for cell activities. ATP, of course, you know it is adenosine triphosphate, which is called the powerhouse of the cell. The last one is the neuron, which is called the nerve cell. The structure is that it has specialized cell wall with a body dendrons. It has a long axon, while the function is that it is useful in transmitting nerve impulses from one part of the body to another, which is impulses means signals. Electric signals. States the characteristics that viruses share in common with living organisms and non-living organisms. For living organisms, reproduce, and they contain genetic materials, which is DNA or RNA, and they can mutate. They can shift from one part of the organism to another inside of the organism. The second one under non-living is that they can be crystallized, and they don't carry out metabolism on their own, and they do not grow or respirate outside of the host. So virus in non-living organisms, they don't grow or respirate outside of the organism, right? But they do that in living organisms.